everybody, and welcome to the October 25th issue of the Tucson Mortgage Weekly. I really appreciate your patience. While I was out of town, my wife and I spent, almost 3 weeks in Italy celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary. We had a great time, and in a nutshell, here's what we did. Rome, Amalfi Coast, Tuscany region, and Lake Como. And what I can tell you is Italy is an absolutely magnificent country. And if you have an opportunity to go, I would strongly suggest so. Amalfi Coast on the Mediterranean was fabulous. Totally different was Tuscany and the wine and olive region. That was fabulous. And then Lake Como up by the Swiss border. One thing I didn't know is that George Clooney obviously owns a house there, and people wanted to know if I had seen him. That's like kind of saying I went to New York City and wanted to know if I bumped into the governor. So no, I didn't see George Clooney, but it is a beautiful area, definitely worth going to. And as we'll hear what's going on, the devaluation of the U.S. dollar really bit me, because I think we were over there at about the lowest point of the U.S. dollar to the euro conversion in a long time. So my trip was about 10 to 15% more expensive than I thought it was going to be. So, okay, what's been going on? In a recap of the last 3 weeks, and I heard a lot about this when I was over in Europe, there was a lot of talk about QE2, which is not Queen Elizabeth II, the ship. It's actually quantitative easing. And it's been all the rage, and there's been a lot of eyebrow raising and a lot of discussion about it, because right now what the talk is that whether there's going to be competitive devaluation. Just so that we're all on the same terms, the whole purpose of quantitative easing is to devalue the dollar, therefore making our goods and services much more competitive in the world market. And at a time where we're trying to bolster sales and we're trying to get people back to work, what better way than to make our products and goods cheaper so that they're purchased more readily around the world. The problem is everybody else can do the same thing, like China, like European nations, like South America. And the bottom line is just like a price war, if everybody keeps chopping their values to make their goods cheaper, what ends up happening is there's a lot of losers. And third world countries and very weak economies are going to suffer, and who knows what kind of damage can be wrought. So there was a ton of talking about this in Italy when I was there, all over the European, the BBC News and whatnot. Man, I'm telling you, there's a lot of U.S. financial bashing going on. If what went on with the subprime and housing meltdown didn't hurt us, this QE2 is going to take us down the rest of the way in the eyes of the European financiers. So there was a big discussion this weekend, and the European nations got together and they said, well, we're not going to, we all agree, we promise we're not going to do, competitive devaluation, but clearly everybody's doing it because they have to save their economy. So let's see what goes on with that. Also, what's going on right now, what's happening is that on a whole different note, is that the stock market's been doing really well, and I'm kind of scratching my head trying to figure out what's going on. The only thing I can think of is that the stock market has already priced in GOP victory, and that only means if the GOP wins that it's going to be gridlock in Congress, and gridlock means no new laws. And as we all know, there's nothing that the stock market hates worse than uncertainty, and so GOP winning means gridlock, nothing for the next year or two. So I think stocks are rebounding very healthily, if that's a word, on the expectation that there's going to be gridlock in the market. So go figure that out. So I think the next biggest hurdle we're going to face here is obviously the forthcoming election. What's going on this week? Existing home sales came out. It was a bit better, but at this point it's not really, doesn't mean a whole lot. There's some inflation reports the rest of the end of the week, and the federal government is selling about $108 or $109 billion in debt. So they're refinancing their debt. Talk about refinance. Rates are low. It's a great time. If you have not looked into it, you ought to. Whether or not you do it is a decision that only you can make, but researching it, give me a call. We'll work out the numbers for you. Again, it's Todd Abelson at Sun Street Mortgage. I thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to check out the blog site, TucsonMortgageBlog.com. Thanks a lot. Make it a great week. Bye-bye.